Hello guys, welcome back to the next episode of
The Social Notions.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like doing that.
We're back today. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode about online dating. It was an easy topic to start with, I think, but we are going to dive in a bit deeper this time.
We're going to jump in.
We're going to jump in. We've got a few deeper topics that we are going to we're going to land on one of them and discuss. I guess that's about it. How are you guys doing? Katie, how are you?
I'm really good.
How's
today.
life?
Life's really good. Yeah, I just made a sick crab costume. I'm really excited to wear it.
What is the party called that you're going to?
It's my best friend's 21st.
Yeah.
And it's nautical themed.
Nautical themed. Katie.
It's called like Yo Ho Ho.
Maybe you'll get to see a preview of it on our Instagram. Katie in her crab costume is obscene. Would you agree?
Obscene.
Oh.
Horrible.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
How are you, Jan?
I'm not too bad. Stressed because of uni,
Yeah, I had an exam today. That was fun.
but it's nearly over.
Yeah.
Is it though? Because it's nearly over,
A month.
but also
We've got a month.
Oh,
got a lot to do.
Yeah.
I have so
But
much
anyway,
to do.
this is the time that we can kick back, relax, and chat shit for a while. So, I guess we're going to spin the wheel and see what we land on and dive in, as we always do. Lock in with us, guys. I hope you enjoy. Let's get deep. So, guys, our topic of our second episode is white saviour, the debate around comic relief recently that's been in the news. So, essentially, for people that don't know, if you're living under a rock, it is referring to a picture that Stacey Dooley posted. She was sent out to somewhere in Africa, I believe, with comic relief.
I think it was Uganda.
Uganda, maybe.
I could be wrong. I'll fact check it.
Yeah, fact check, Katie, come on. So, yeah, she posted a picture on Instagram while she was out in Uganda, potentially, of her with a little boy. And has been, I think it was David Lammy that first raised the conversation of, we don't need any more white saviours. And he's referring to the whole thing of, comic relief is guilty of just sending predominantly white celebrities to somewhere in Africa for comic relief and kind of romanticising the poverty in Africa. So that's, I guess that's kind of it. That would be my explanation of it. Yeah, obviously it was a little black boy that she posed with, and it's like she's kind of hair and makeup ready, looking happier than can be, and this little boy, I mean, he doesn't look very happy, does he? He looks malnourished and just, it's not, I think the whole point of it is that it's basically, she used him for an Instagram photo to look like the white saviour.
Yeah, I think it's...
Of course.
I think it's beyond the... It's supposed to raise awareness, and I don't think that picture did raise awareness. It looked... Not the opposite, but just it looked very insensitive. It didn't look like it was raising awareness.
I don't think that Stacey Dooley has poor intentions.
Oh, no,
No.
not at all.
Because she does documentaries, doesn't she?
She does a lot of
She does a
documentaries.
lot, and
She's done a lot in the past about,
Everything.
everything. Yeah,
Loads of
about-
stuff.
Yeah,
Sex workers,
yeah,
drugs.
Yeah, and she's
Prisons.
homelessness. Oh, yeah, everything.
she's prevalent in that kind of docu-series scene, raising awareness on a lot of different issues. And like I said, I don't think she had any poor intentions.
No, definitely
I just
not.
think that she is almost, I don't know if it's the right thing to say, but she's almost blinded by her privilege.
I think I think everyone is.
Yeah.
It's very ironic that 3 white people are talking about this.
I mean, yeah, it's true. But,
three privileged white people. I'm not saying that we're definitely not underprivileged, and we're definitely not.
no.
We have not experienced.
Well, we benefit, don't we,
Yeah.
off of just the colour of our skin.
Exactly,
Of course.
exactly,
As
and
does
we've not
Stacey Dooley.
experienced
Yeah.
what it is like to be in any way.
Well, a person of colour in this country.
Yeah, a person of
Let
colour in this
alone
country,
a
let
person
alone
of colour
let
elsewhere.
alone, yeah,
in parts of
Africa,
the
which
world,
are very
yeah.
poor.
I don't know. It's a very tricky topic to discuss. I think David Lammy, I agree with what he's saying. I don't know a lot about
some
him.
things that he says.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about him. But I do think that there was a debate on this morning. You've got some quotes, haven't you?
I do.
Go on, hit us with it.
When would you like?
I think Vanessa Feltz
Vanessa
was
Phelps.
one of the people that was debating it.
Yes, yeah.
Go ahead, Katie, take it away.
She said you wouldn't go on the high street and pick up a black baby and take a picture of it.
In this country, it would be.
To me, that's silly to say, because you wouldn't, but you wouldn't, like, that's not what the point I think Stacey or the people that send Comic Relief were trying to make. You wouldn't go into the high street and pick up any child and take a picture, or anyone for that matter. You wouldn't go in Britain and find a homeless person and take a picture with them to raise awareness. It's not how you do it. I think they were trying to raise an awareness of it. I just think the way that they do it is a bit outdated now.
But that's the point. Yeah, it's like
that's the point.
I think the guy who she was kind of debating with, I'm not sure of his name, but he said, well, you would if you were trying to raise awareness in the UK, but I just don't think you would. In the way it was done. And again, I've used this word before, but it was very much like kind of rose-tinted glasses over the whole situation and what's really going on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think David Lammy's point was, instead of sending, I think it was Ed Sheeran who went out. Was it 2017?
Yeah, 2017.
He went out, and I think there was clips of him like playing his guitar and singing.
Liberia.
You know, it's all well and good, but really, you've been flown out there, probably on first-class flights, probably staying somewhere quite nice. Don't fact check me on that because I don't know if I'm right, but I would. No. That's my presumption.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean.
They're not going to.
It's not like they're short on money in the BBC. No. Let's be honest. Is it on the BBC? Isn't it?
Yeah, Comic Relief. But it's not even. It doesn't even matter.
No.
You wouldn't put Ed Sheeran in a shanty.
No. And that's that again. That's exactly. Yeah. And they're going out there, and it's very much just that picture alone, you know, along with kind of what Ed Sheeran did, which he got a lot of backlash for that, didn't he?
I think so. He won an award.
Go on.
A Rusty Radiator Award for like the worst, most stereotypical like video.
I mean, yeah.
See, that is unfair.
Comic Relief video.
That is unfair.
What?
Because it's not Ed Sheeran that's doing it, or it's not Stacey Dooley that's doing it. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we don't know what their ideas for doing it. We don't know what their motivations were for doing it. They might have genuinely been trying to do it to help.
Yeah.
Because they think, from their point, because they are powerful people.
But that's the point.
That they're going to help. But that is the point.
Again, it's like they are powerful people. They are the top of the food chain. They are the, you know.
Well, Ed Sheeran's the biggest star in the world, and Stacey Dooley is,
Well,
now she's very relevant.
I'm talking just in general, the people who organise Comic Relief. I don't know who they are, but I can guarantee that they have a lot of money.
Yes.
Which is not a bad thing. And I'm not bashing Comic Relief because I think I'm all for raising awareness, raising money for people who need it. But I don't necessarily think that Comic Relief do it in the right way. The point that David Lammy made was, I think, that why do they send predominantly white celebrities, rich celebrities out there? You know, they sit down, they play a little song on their guitar, they post an Instagram picture, and then they're back off to their hotel, they're flown home. And, you know... Well, and I'm not saying, again, I'm not slamming Stacey Dooley because I do think she has good intentions. I think she does do a lot of work to raise awareness on a lot of different issues, but there are people who have been part of Comic Relief who are there, do their bit, kind of... I'd go as far to say they go there to make themselves look great, and then they piss off. And the whole point is that why don't Comic Relief go out there and instead of, you know, the sad music with the crying baby, and which is all very real, but the way it's portrayed again is romanticising it. Why don't they go out there and...
That is how... so from growing up watching Comic Relief, you see it, and you see it in everything. You see it in soaps. You see it's supposed to be a shock factor to white people.
Or to provoke emotion, to give them money.
For people who are going through it, it's not a shock. It's not. It's just their day-to-day life, which is heartbreaking that that's someone's day-to-day life. But for us as viewers. Consumers and viewers to see that, like, I'll be honest, you do watch some of those documentaries or, you know, short movies, and you go, fuck me, that's horrible. And you do genuinely feel, and you do genuinely want to do something about it. It's not that it doesn't do the job that it's supposed to do. I just don't think, I think now in the year that we're in, and especially with the community and the sort of culture that we're in is, I just think that's the wrong way to go about it.
Which
now.
is the point I'm making. Go
Yeah.
on, Katie.
You know what I find quite strange about comic relief is, like, you do get those little snippets of children, and that's what we're raising awareness for. But some people are so, like, probably not, like, what's the word I'm looking for? They're probably kind of bone idle and probably looking forward to, like, the more entertainment aspects.
Yeah, it doesn't bring
Well,
a
yeah.
realism to it, does it?
Yeah, because
Which
if
again,
it was just like a half an hour thing of someone going to Africa, like, and it was just that, that maybe that would
they
be,
wouldn't raise nearly as much money, would they?
of course, but because they've got these added little extras that they've decided to, like.
And the
put
point
in.
I was going to make was, which is what David Lemmy said, is that why don't they go out there and instead of doing what they do, why don't they make even like a short film and have people within the community working on it? Why don't they find maybe not from Africa, but maybe someone from the UK who has like is African or has lived in Africa, was born in Africa, or was born here but is African from somewhere in Africa, and you know, because they will understand the struggle more than we will ever will. We will never understand that.
Yeah.
Why don't they get African filmmakers and people of colour who know what it's like to struggle because of the colour of your skin or because of your geographical location? Have people out there, and not just a 10-minute clip of Stacey Dooley crying with a little baby in a tent because he has malaria.
Yeah.
Have a film or a short film where you delve into the lives properly of people out there, and don't romanticize it. I know that sometimes it's hard to watch these things, but if you keep romanticizing and, you know, like rose tinting these things,
It's like we'll never get past.
It's kind of like it's like you're just painting it with privilege. You've got Little Mix performing in 10 minutes while you're watching this little baby in Africa who has malaria and is dying.
Yeah.
Which is normal for people out there. You know, that's what they experience. But if you partner it with, and again, I understand that they're trying to raise money, but I just personally feel that it's really insensitive.
In a really like weird, like psychological way. It's like, oh, you're like so in this, like, oh, it's really sad, and then they'll come back on straight away. They'll look in the camera and go, yeah, that was really hard.
And now we've got Little Mix performing.
And now
do you know what I mean?
It's like you're never gonna just have.
But you've got to understand that with any charity, it's only the same as, like, I've raised money for charity. I've waxed my legs and waxed my chest in front of
all that kind of stuff.
the whole school, and we raise money for charity. You've got to have some comic relief for people to get involved. That is the issue with it. That's the best thing about charities is everyone is there for one reason. All right, the whole school might have wanted to watch me in a lot of pain, which I was, but it wasn't the same as what the charity we were raising for. We're raising money for sensory deprivation children. And the whole point was we did something to raise money for something. That's what they're doing, is Little Mix sing so people watch them.
So my point is, we're talking about celebrities, but I do feel like the
general public,
especially students potentially, or pre-students, fall into the gap of gap years. The gap of gap. And I guess the premise behind that is going and volunteering and helping and making conservation and stuff. But is that, and then posting it to Instagram like a couple of months after, being like, oh, it was a wicked experience.
Look what I did, I'm
Look
incredible.
what I did.
Well, that brings up a different issue. That brings up the issue of you have to post things on Instagram so you look good, which is
that's what it is.
Yeah,
That's what
but
she did.
Yeah, so you can't knock people for going out there and doing it, even if you are white and you are privileged. You can't knock people for going out there and
not at all.
putting their time just to help other people. That to me is
But
valiant.
it's your what's the word I'm looking for? Your motivation behind it.
True.
Well, yeah.
Because I actually know people who have gone and travelled and just rinsed the shit out of it online.
Yeah.
And I personally think at some point after uni, I'd like to travel, definitely go to parts of India, all around Asia, and maybe Africa as well, and volunteer.
Yeah.
And it is a cliche thing that you do, but it's something that I'm genuinely passionate about. And I think I would post things online, but I do think there is a certain way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Personally.
Yeah, there definitely is, but the good thing...
Do you think that because of the celebrity status that like comic relief people have, it's different?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's why they do it, isn't it? They get celebrities on.
But that's why it's such a big thing now. The argument is because obviously, if I were to post a picture of exactly what Stacey Dooley did, I'd probably get ripped by my friends. If they had any
she
sense.
got ripped by everyone.
But that's what, yeah. So obviously she's in the limelight, so she's getting ripped by everyone. But again, it's like it doesn't make it any better. Someone of our status to do it. No. Just because, it still makes it wrong, but it's just on a lower level because less people are consuming it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but so how do you raise awareness of these things without looking insensitive? The best thing and also the worst thing about social media is that you can do that. You can promote something. You can raise awareness about something. It's only like what we're doing now, talking about it.
Yeah.
We're creating a conversation about it. You can't knock
you're a hero,
charities you are.
I said you're a hero, Jan.
Yeah. You can't knock comic relief for raising awareness about it.
I don't think anyone is, though. I think
no, there is definitely a way to do it, just as there is definitely a way to word an Instagram post. Or that's the best thing about social media is that you can raise awareness.
Yeah.
You can do.
Good.
You can post a picture of where you've been, and you can say, "This is what I've been through, and this is what people go through for their entire lives."
Yeah.
And they don't know any different.
What was it that Stacey Dooley captioned her picture?
Yeah, see,
exactly. Obsessed
See,
with a heartbreaking
again,
emoji.
See, your heart's not broken. You're not
And
obsessed because in 10 minutes when the cameras are off, again,
or like
you're off.
In like 2 days when you're off back home and you're sitting at home.
It's
with
not
your
not like you're
cup of tea,
emailing the kid like, "How are you doing, mate?"
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a computer.
But then is she supposed to?
WhatsApp?
Is she supposed to go home and be fixated on the fact that she was...
No, but don't post it obsessed, heartbreaking emoji. Post it with a link for somewhere to go and donate money.
Well, yeah.
And what was what was happening when that picture was taken, who this child is, what his family experience, or don't post it at all. And be a part of comic relief in a way that you use your privilege for good instead of romanticising
you see, that's
cultures that aren't Western, basically.
That's the thing is, I think it needs to be more shocking for people.
That's what
I've heard stories. My dad worked in Africa for a bit, and even he's told me stories about, obviously he didn't stay in the poorest areas. He was in Kenya, which is quite an affluent place in the centre. And he was telling me stories about how, it is very poor. You can go down one street, or you're literally out of the city centre, and it's just desolate almost. It's not right. And
it's not in our brains. It's like almost hard to comprehend.
He got the shock factor from that. That genuinely hurt him seeing that. So is that what we need instead of Ed Sheeran going around playing some nice tunes to him?
I think so.
Do we need the shock factor? Do we need someone to go, fuck, that's horrible?
I was just gonna say, like, the way that Western culture portrays Africa, like, it is indeed shocking, but there are definitely other areas which are like...
Well, yeah, we've because of things like comic relief, unfortunately, we only view Africa as this
it's like branded as
poor
this
nation and corrupt nation.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There are a lot of things that are coming out of Africa that are they're not behind us.
No, not at all. But it's like places like China. China's a massive, massive place, and they have a very similar thing.
Yeah.
I think of like very poor areas.
Stereotypes. That's what.
But again, we have it in the UK, not to the extent that they do in other places. I'm not saying that at all. But you do have places in the UK that, and there are predominantly black culture places, in London, and where people are poor, really poor, struggling to get a meal for their kids. But it's not obviously to the extent like it is in parts of Africa. But I do agree that, especially like very uneducated, privileged white people, almost just see Africa as a country, and they're just like, oh well, Africa's poor. Yeah. That's sad, well, and then they move on.
See Africa,
Africa's fucking massive. It's a continent. Do you know what I mean?
There are different countries in Africa.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know.
And the way it's like represented in like films and stuff, like.
But it's because everything that, not everything, but comic relief, everything that they do, it's created by white people for white people.
Yes.
But they're talking about cultures that they don't know or understand.
Yeah.
They never will, because I'm so thankful that I will never experience that, but also it breaks, it's heartbreaking to know that other people do. So I think the best way to go around it as someone of privilege is it's good to create conversation, because as privileged people, our voices are sadly a lot more valid a lot of the time than others, who they are the ones that should be raising the conversation. The people who experience these things, which I think is what Comic Relief need to do. And I know that they have, clips of like mothers with children who are ill. It's usually the same kind of narrative of a mother with a child who has malaria or was ill from birth, which is what happens, yes. But it's like Stacey Dooley sat there crying. And it's just like, why don't we have a proper short film? We need to know I think personally we need to know the gruesome, awful details of what's really going on, because otherwise, like we said, people just see Africa as a place that everyone's poor, and every year you donate a bit of money, you text comic to 003 and you donate £5, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean?
Tenant like winks at you,
and that's kind of it. You got Lenny Henry
and then
entertaining
you
for an hour and a half, and then that's what I mean. We need to have more of better content, more authentic content, I think.
Do you think that Comic Relief is outdated now? Do you think, because obviously it started in July 1985, that was the first episode.
I don't know, it was that long ago.
So is that when, like, I might sound really stupid here, but is that when like TV and broadcasting and no?
What?
I don't know. What, as in when it picked up or when?
No. Yeah, no.
No, BBC had been going for ages.
Donkey's
like
years.
But obviously,
maybe, I don't even
but
know.
when
God knows.
when was
God
that?
knows,
That song.
You're thinking Band-Aid.
That's Band-Aid, mate.
That's
was that
not
older?
That's not.
That was in the 80s.
That was 80s.
Yeah.
But that's not linked with Comic Relief. I don't think it is anyway. But yeah, it's all the same as them. It's.
Yeah, sports relief.
I think it is outdated.
I do.
I don't think it's outdated, because I know that I'm sure that there are filmmakers out there and content creators out there creating content of the content that we're discussing, saying that it should be more authentic, it should be of people who are experiencing those hardships and that culture. I'm sure there are people out there doing that, but they haven't got the platform that the BBC does.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like I said, it's white people creating content
for
white people, and
yeah.
And I know that they're the people that unfortunately have the power. They're they're the ones in the chairs with the power, but they need to bring in the people who don't have the power and give them a voice, because otherwise they're not going to get one, sadly.
Yeah. See, that's what's interesting is you're saying, like, the BBC should just pull the finger out and get on board with creators maybe in Africa that
because obviously there's going to be people out there doing that.
There are definitely people that are doing that.
Yeah, of course.
There are definitely creative people that want to share their message.
And not necessarily in those poorer areas, but there'll be people in Africa, in parts of Africa, from the more advanced, what's the word I'm looking for, like economically developed areas that are creating content, and they would have so much more of an idea of a way to create it sensitively, but also accurately and authentically to show.
But it shouldn't be sensitive.
No, I mean, to a certain extent, it should be
shocking.
I think sensitive as in to the people out there.
Yeah.
It should be sensitive but authentic. Is what the point I'm trying to make. What was it that David Lammy said about? We got a quote from him, didn't we? About Comic Relief.
It says perpetuates
colonialism.
Thank you. And keeps precisely and is precisely what.
Can you read?
She's just completely messed up our really intelligent quote.
I'm really sorry.
Right, do you want to go again, Katie?
Can you say the? Because I can't.
I think
say
you said
that
it.
word.
Comic relief is perpetuating colonialism, and it's precisely what keeps Africa poor.
And it's not challenging the audiences to ask deeper questions, such as how and why.
That's basically what you were saying.
Yeah.
Is it doesn't raise awareness. All it does is it's just like the face of it, isn't it?
It's like, look what's going on. Let's talk about it for an hour and a half, and then fuck off for a year.
Yeah, but
and I know that they raise a lot of money, but also where's that money going? I don't know. I'm not saying that they're not donating it because I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Well,
see, that's
I mean, who knows?
I mean,
that's a very.
But we don't. You know, how much do they raise every time they do
like
it? It's in the millions. Is it millions and millions?
It's millions. It is millions.
So, guys, I think we're going to round the conversation up there. I mean, we could probably go on for hours and hours.
You could talk about this, along with all the other
things that
topics.
come.
You could talk about it.
There's so many other bits
forever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, but I think we'll stop putting the world to rights there for now, and wait till the next episode to discuss loads more stuff. We hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Please let us know down below your thoughts.
Should we give our?
Yeah.
Is
definitely.
that what's coming up next?
I was going to say some final thoughts. She's always interrupting.
Well, you know.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts on the situation. You know, pros and cons, whatever you feel.
If you disagree, or you agree.
Yeah, I personally think we need to do more to portray authentic and sensitive content that shows what's really happening, not what we kind of want to consume as privileged people. We should be consuming what we need to consume, authentic content that portrays, the horrible stuff, the nitty and the gritty and the heartbreaking stuff. Proper content, in my opinion. That's what I think. What do you think?
I agree with you totally. I think in the air of obviously how the conversation started with the Stacey Dooley thing and Ed Sheeran, is it you can't blame them for doing what they're doing. They are trying to raise awareness and they are trying to help, and they're doing more than I do. I give money, but they're doing more than I do. I've not been out there. I've not seen it. I think obviously the Instagram post was very insensitive. Highly insensitive. I don't think she meant to do it. People make mistakes. Obviously, you should think about how you're going to portray yourself in those situations.
I mean, it was just ignorant, wasn't it?
It was. It was just plain ignorance. And but
platform,
I am gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say she didn't mean to cause this much stir.
No, her as an individual.
Oh, definitely.
Luckily enough, it's created a conversation that we can make a podcast about.
Yeah.
But
and that hopefully. Not this podcast alone, but hopefully that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I hopefully it will develop into something a bit more authentic.
I do agree with you when you say that we need to be shocked. As white, privileged people, we need to be shocked into it. Because if not, no one's going to fucking listen.
No, exactly.
No one fucking listens anyway. So people we need it to just get into us.
Yeah.
Because it's horrible what's happening. Everywhere in the world, it's horrible what's happening. So why don't we just all pull our finger out of our asses and do something about it?
There you go. That's Gianluca signing off.
Boom.
Katie.
Hi. That was really cute. Anyway.
Final thoughts?
My thoughts. I agree with both of your things. I think we should have more authenticity when we're going out parading with our lovely luxurious camera crews around all this sadness. I think we need to be sourcing better creatives who can make the content. But I also do think that I don't think we won't see a change until, as Jan said, people, I don't want to say get their fingers out of their asses, but we are so, in this Western culture, we are so privileged, and we have this history of like the white
racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Institutionalized racism.
Essentially, yes. We have that.
But I mean, that's a whole other conversation.
Of course.
Tune in next week for that.
But yeah, what was my point? It's just we shouldn't have to be like saving them. We should be like implementing them tools, giving them tools and like things like this
To be the same as us.
Using our amenities.
Using our privilege for good and not to
helping
keep
them.
the poor and keep the rich rich.
Boom.
Drop the mic.
Bosh.
There you go.
Start singing Colours of the Wind.
Oh, God. That's another week, Katie. Yes, so we'll round up there. Like I said, let us know what you think. It's time for Song of the Week.
Bum, 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 bum.
My Song of the Week is going to be No Ordinary Life by Matt Corby. It's incredible. It's such a good song. Listen to it. Listen to it in your room with loads of pretty lights and you will have a great time.
I thought
It's
it was gonna be one of
beautiful.
those songs.
It's one of
to it
those songs.
in your room.
It's one of those songs.
Okay.
Jan, Song of the Week.
My song is Mac DeMarco's new song. It's
Oh, I haven't heard.
called Nobody. It's very cool. I've fallen out of love with Mac DeMarco for a bit, and now I think I've fallen back in love with him.
Aww.
He's kind of.
Happy
I was trying to
endings.
think of a good explanation. He's kind of like the. For many people, he's the cool, cool guy.
Mm.
The
So
uncool, cool.
no, the cool,
the
cool guy.
cool guy.
Because he acts uncool, but he is very cool, and that's why I think people don't like him because they want to be. It's a good fucking tune. Just listen to it.
That's basically it. Katie, what's your Song of the Week?
Mine is Plenty by Guru Jazzmatazz. It's an album called Street Soul, and it features Erykah Badu. And there's no other real things that I just really bloody like it, and you should listen to it when you're walking down the street and be like,
Bloody likes
Boom.
it.
Bloody like it.
what the? Okay. I first heard it in a shop in Shoreditch, and there was a really nice lady, and she was like,
Shoreditch.
Shout out to the lady in Shoreditch.
"Thank you." And I was like, "What is this?" And she was like, and I was like, "Sick, thank you,
There
my
you go.
friend." I didn't have Shazam then, so
You do know Shazam is built into Snapchat, don't you?
Is it?
Yeah, you just hold down on the
and
camera
Siri.
screen. And it... Is it? Yeah, true.
But yeah,
Anyway. oh
that's
God.
my one.
It's always a
Yay.
tangent with us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed this second episode. Give us some feedback, positive, negative, whatever it is. We will take it on board. Tune in next time on Social Sunday for the next episode. Go on, Katie. Interrupt me again. Go on.
It's a podcast. That's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah, go on.
Also, we might start taking suggestions.
Might
definitely.
start taking suggestions.
We definitely
We-
will be.
Want suggestions
We
now?
want suggestions.
We want some suggestions for the wheel, guys. So if you head on over to our Instagram, it's the Social Notions, the same as Facebook. All the information will be down below. But if you head on over there, you can start submitting some topics that you want us to discuss. Because I know that you're dying to hear us talk.
Especially me.
Especially Jan. So thank you very much, guys. We hope to see you next time. This is us signing off. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah. Lovely, Ella. I think we didn't ask you how you were though.
Do you know what? You're all selfish.
Yeah.